Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, gamers, geezers, geeks, and nerds alike. It's this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. I must remember to say the right podcast because I get very close to saying the other one, and vice versa.
I was
And as
half
always-
expecting you to say gamers alike.
Yeah, I do on the other one. I have to watch that. Anyway, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
I'm joined here by Keith. Hello, Keith.
Hello, Keith.
So
Hello, peeps.
this week's show, we'll be talking about why you should watch Guardians of the Galaxy because it's the last decent Marvel film that you'll see, maybe ever. And Keith's going to try and ask me to watch Apple TV Silo, which I don't like being pigeonholed, I'll be honest with you, or put in a silo. But we'll also talk a little bit about Apple TV's Blackbird, which I've been wanting to talk about for I've come up for a month now. And
I'm getting there with it. I'm getting there with it.
Yes.
I'm getting there with it.
So where should we start? Where do you want to start?
Well, should we do the news first? Should we do the news?
The news.
The news. Okay, so there was two bits of news this week that kind of interested me. The first one was that Paramount, the long-suffering Paramount Plus, which was meant to be cutting money and blah blah blah, is officially a success with over 16 million subscribers. And they cited, in no small part, this was down to Picard season 3 and the Yellowstone sort of universe, because they've got a Yellowstone spin-off show which had Helen Mirren, and that was 1923. Now they call that that thing's now called a universe, and I don't know what they refer to it as, but there's like a couple of shows, and there's another one coming along as well. But it's the fact that they cited Picard season 3, not Discovery. Strange New Worlds.
Now, this is the thing: I think Strange New Worlds has been thrown in there for marketing because Strange New Worlds is coming out soon, so they want people to be excited for it. Oh, this is one of the things that saved Paramount Plus. Oh, might backfire.
I think it is. I think as we get through the season of Strange New Worlds, it's just not going to have the hype. Now, okay, some of that is nostalgia factor. I am not going to deny that. But actually, a lot of it was because it was just damn good Trek. And no matter how many of the Discovery simps out there try and argue that Discovery season 4 was the best show, because trust me, there's enough of them at the moment on the Picard Facebook group. It's not, because if it was that good, it'd have a season 6. Does it have a season 6? Cue Tumbleweed.
Or all that money that they got from Netflix just run out.
Yeah. If it was that popular, would it still be on Netflix? Cue Tumbleweed. Anyway, so I found that piece of news interesting, and the fact that they've actually cited it, they must know the viewing figures. We know Strange New Worlds never made the Nielsen ratings. Picard did, right? They must know that whatever they've announced, I'm willing to lay a bet. I do not think we're going to.
Oh, he derped.
As a movie,
was it me?
Or a limited series.
Had to derp during the important bit there.
I didn't derp, but yeah,
the little symbol says you derped. That's why I put the little symbol up there to figure if it's me or you.
Right. Anyway, so I was saying I don't think we're going to see. I will be surprised if we see Academy now. I think they announced Academy hoping that it would have some kind of huge following, and it hasn't. And a lot of the Picard season 3 people we don't want Academy, we want Legacy. We want Legacy. They went 5 seasons on Discovery and then cancelled it. They cancelled it because no one is fucking watching the show. Why are you going to make Starfleet Academy set in the same timeline? Nobody gives a shit. And after Picard season 3, more people don't give a shit.
I've just realised something. If they're doing a Starfleet Academy, it's not going to be like San Francisco Academy, because They're like in the
No, it's not on Earth.
not even going to be remotely like Starfleet Academy.
No.
That's
I mean, you read the
terrible.
Symphonist, and they've all but announced Tilly, and I mean, you know, Tilly is. I'm sorry, but seriously, it's not Tilly, it's Tilly. Because no, it's just going to be rubbish. So just come on, Paramount, get on with it, and announce it. You don't have to say anything more. I know there's a tiny little writer strike going on at the moment, which is going to be the single biggest fuck you to Hollywood. Yeah. I just find it interesting that they cited Picard season 3 in that, and that just says a lot. And anyway, other good news, Gareth. Which other good news is the B5 reboot is no longer a reboot. It's an animated film, and it's already been done. And it's already in the can, mate. It's done, edited, cut. It's coming out in the next couple of months, apparently. I don't know where it's being released, but apparently, well, when I was watching it got announced, they said it's done. It's done. It's in the can.
It said it's done. It's in the can. Do you think that they're going to, how can I put it, revive certain actors and bits?
You see, here's the thing, right? If you're going to do a B5 movie, you've got to have either those characters in, or you go down the Excalibur route, right? But like, literally, half the cast is dead, and like, almost all my favorite characters are dead. And you know, every time anybody's asked me, "Who do you love?" Garibaldi, Shakar, and Londo.
Londo's not
unfortunately, dead. I thought he was. I thought the Londo actor died.
Jakar's not Jakar. Peter Jurassic, sorry.
Is he still alive?
He's still alive.
Oh, awesome. Sorry, Peter. But Shakar actor is unfortunately passed away. And like, I think Shakar is probably my favorite character, along with, well, I loved Susan Vonover as well. I mean, yeah. There's diversity for you. There's a good female character. There's a kick-ass fucking female character that earns it.
Great speech with the
she had one of the most.
What was it? It goes, "Who am I, sweetheart?" Because I'm this, that, the other. Because I'm the last living person you're ever going to see. And then she ends it with, "God sent me," and then blows them all to hell. And it's like, that's a speech. That's how you create a threatening speech. Well done. That was one thing that JMS could do. He could do this big monologues, and there was always a joke because he always wrote the big monologues for Delenn. So whenever Mara Furlan got a thingy, all the actors were like, "Quick, find a chair," because she's got to get this right, and it's going to take a while, which was great.
But it's coming. It's going to be there. It's being done. It's scripted, and it's ready. So I'm really looking forward to it. I know it's animated, but I think it's the only way you can do it, and the effects are still going to be better. You know, there was part of me that was sitting there thinking the other day, I'm kind of glad they're not doing a reboot, because I just don't think you can reboot something that iconic. If you've got that kind of money, go back and remaster it and just put it out again, because I'm guarantee you it'll get viewers. You just put it out again, put it out with, decent special effects, right? Because those White Star ships are cooler than anything in sci-fi. Do them fucking proud, stick them out there, spend the money on remastering it. It'll still be cheaper, and it'd be awesome. Awesome. Remaster it and stick it out on 4K Blu-ray.
I've seen, if you can find remastered bits where people have taken bits of it and remastered it.
Yes.
It's done the same with Voyager too. And it looked, and they're good. They're good. I enjoy them.
I just don't know what it's going to be about. I mean, when is it going to be set? Is it set after Sheridan is gone? Because if it's after the Sheridan, it can't really be Babylon 5. So is it just Babylon 5 universe, or is it actually going to be set on Babylon 5? And if it's going to be set on Babylon 5, you've kind of got to have Shakar. And I don't think you can find somebody that can do Shakar. Yeah, it has to. I don't see anyone else that can do it. He's still. I loved that character. I loved that character, and he starts off. He's one of those characters that goes on a journey because he doesn't. You're not entirely sympathetic to him at first, but by the end of it, he's a lovable rogue. And his and Londo's relationship was just real.
Oh,
and by the end of it, it's beautiful. It's beautiful in many ways.
It's
tragic
start
and
off
beautiful.
the worst of enemies, and then turn into the best of friends.
Yeah,
which I think is
and genuinely have respect for each other, despite everything. A brilliant character. See, this is the thing. Great writing because they had character journeys. Susan Ivanova didn't just turn up awesome. Susan Ivanova earned it. Listening Hollywood, earned it.
Yes.
Right? And I fucking adore her. She is awesome. That's what she's not awesome. Oh, she's not awesome. No, she is awesome. Because she earned it.
And the thing is, most of the time she was her thing was, it wasn't her, like, one of her big struggles was just to fight away the frustration and the anger. Yeah, it's like kind of when what's his name, Sinclair disappears off to get replaced with Sheridan. She's left in charge of the station. There's a great thing where you've got all these ambassadors. They follow her into a lift. They start yelling at her, and then all of a sudden, gets to the top floor. It goes, if you don't like it, goes, I will move your seat. Goes all the way down the corridor into the bloody fusion reactor. Do you hear me? And then she walks away. But her log, because she's doing a captain's log style thing, says, "Oh, I'm handling it quite well." Because she's not. She knows she's not, but she's not allowed to put that in the report. Because she's angry, because she's frustrated, she doesn't know what's going on. Which makes her human.
Yeah.
I heard this theory of why writing is bad, and it involves women. Do you want to hear my controversial sexist take on why writing is bad for women?
Yeah.
And I would like to thank Lego for this. Okay, so Lego were under the impression that girls would play with boys' toys and boys would play with girls' toys. Yeah, doesn't happen. Okay, they spent billions on working this out. Yeah, and if you look at the Lego range, yeah, the stuff for boys is kind of like your superheroes, your Harry Potter sort of things, but the stuff for girls isn't really branded. It's under the Friends label. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
where it's all like girly things. And what they discovered is when you give a boy a Batman toy, yeah, they become Batman. They are Bruce Wayne with the gadgets, doing the fighting, and they're doing all that stuff. Yeah, you give a girl a Batman toy, she is herself wearing a Batman costume.
It's true.
Yeah, and all she does is Batman now goes through whatever she goes through. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, everything starts to make sense now. You cracked the code. This is why, it sounds awful, when you put female writers on, and they're not all like this. I know they're not all like this because there are ones out there that have got an imagination, but female writers can't. They keep putting themselves in there. They keep putting their own politics in there. They look at like She-Hulk, yeah? It's all about the things, the writer's own experiences and their little kind of, oh, I don't like this nonsense, rather than I'm Jen Walters, the mafia tried to kill me and Bruce Wayne saved me. Not Bruce Wayne, Bruce Banner saved me, yeah? And, how do I cope with this? Because now I'm a superhero. Oh yeah, I've got a different standard that I need to hold up. People are going to look up to me. People are going to expect me to save them. Yeah, I can do the lawyering thing. I know the lawyering thing. Yeah, but I don't know the superheroing thing. Yeah, so yeah,
I don't think it's just women that want this identification, but it always seems to be that. But I don't think it is just that. I think Hollywood is creatively bankrupt. Disney is the worst offender. Keeps making its own cartoons into a thing, and I just love how even the normies are panning Peter Pan. See what I did there? But they are, and I mean, I've seen clips from it, and they make me cringe. It's like, how did this get past any executive at Disney? I mean, seriously, right? if I was a major shareholder in Disney, I would be really asking questions about competence right now. Because that line, "This is no boys' magic." It's like, it's so cliche and so unimaginative and so unoriginal. How did this script get made? I mean, I'm sorry. Right now, I'm getting to the point where these organizations that people keep defending, they're undefendable. They're indefensible now. Disney is indefensible. If Disney burns, I'll be upset about never going to Disneyland. That's it. Disney is not the organization it once was. It is not a bastion of creativity. It's a bastion of bankrupt, horrible individuals who write these scripts based upon hate.
No, it's not based upon hate. It's just based upon their pet peeves. They, for some reason, they feel that what they're writing is therapy for them. They think that this is the way that they get express themselves because this is the life they live. They cannot move outside their own boundaries. Yeah, it comes back to the toy thing. You give a boy a Batman toy, and I know when I said that, you were like, "I'm Batman." Yeah, in your head, you went, "I'm Batman," and you're just thinking about throwing batarangs and firing.
I'm looking at 2 Lego Batman toys right now.
Yeah. And you imagine that you're Batman. I did this as a kid. Yeah. I'll give an example. It's a weird thing. Yeah. Right. When I was younger, and we had like Italia 90 on. Remember Italia 90? Had the little Lego man kicking the football. Everybody was obsessed with like Paul Gascoigne. Yeah. And Paul Gascoigne's nickname was Gaza. Yeah. And my nickname was Gaza. Yeah. I didn't want to be Paul Gascoigne because Paul Gascoigne wasn't cool. Do you know what I wanted to be?
Nunica.
I wanted to be John Barnes.
Barnes, yeah. Well, yeah.
Barnes was cool. Barnes played for Liverpool was the first thing. Yeah, being the Liverpool family. I'm slimmer than him now, which makes me feel better about myself. But at the time, I wanted to be John Barnes. He was a midfielder. He was solid. Came across as like the leader sort of person. Didn't burst into fucking tears when things went wrong. Yeah, he was cool. He did the Liverpool rap when we had he did the England rap when we had the thingy. It was great. Yeah. I wanted to be John Barnes. John Barnes is black. But he was cool. That's why I wanted to be John Barnes. Yeah, because he was I felt that. And it's weird. I can associate with someone like that.
I don't understand why we have to fit people into boxes. I know quite a few gay people, right? I've never seen somebody go, I wish that every show on I had to have a lesbian on it. I've known people that wanted to be Catherine Janeway, right? A lesbian wanted to be Catherine Janeway. Not because she fancied her. She thought she was cool, right? Why do we have to suddenly fit people into all these boxes? It makes absolutely no sense. And I completely understand. I used to think Will Smith and Fresh Prince was really funny and cool. I loved Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I loved that show, right? In fact, by today's standards, if you apply today's standards to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that was a deeply racist show because every time there was a white guy in it, he was a bit of a fucking pompous prick. Every time in that show. That, by today's standards, if you reverse them, would be deemed a very racist show. It's not. It was just a funny show, right? But I do not understand some of this bullshit. But look, I'm kind of enjoying watching Disney get it stuck to. Now we have a writer's strike, and it talk about hitting the self-destruct button. You've lost $1 trillion fucking to over your streaming fucking stuff. $1 trillion fucking, right? And now you're having a writer's strike. Good one, Hollywood. Well done.
The thing that's the telling is that we don't using AI. And
this is what I was thinking. I'm waiting for like one of the late night shows to come back with an AI produced show because I mean there's a YouTuber that I follow who does like smart homes, a guy called Paul Hibbert, right? And he did an entire he put into ChatGPT, write me a 10-minute YouTube script in the style of Paul Hibbert, right? And he did it, and it kind of worked. And I'm just waiting for that to happen. I generally I can see one of the late night shows going fuck it, because I think this can go 100 days again. I think it can possibly go longer, and it means I'm not going to get decent entertainment for a while. But look, I can go back and watch Picard season 3 again. This was awesome. And fuck it. This needs to happen. These writers need to fucking writers strike. You think you deserve more money? Really?
Oh no, that's actually saying that they don't get. Apparently, they get paid fuck all, and this won't be where the problem comes from, because they only get paid. No, hang on a second. Hold on a second, right? If you want exceptional, you pay for exceptional. If you want ordinary, you pay ordinary, and they're paying ordinary, which means we get ordinary.
I wouldn't even say it's ordinary. I'd say it's shit. For the most part, not everything is shit. Terry Matalas wrote pretty decent Picard season 3. I'm gonna keep. I love that show.
But, all right. Hang on. Hold on a second. Did you see the little Twitter exchange between him and Russell T Davies?
No, I missed this.
Russell T Davies posted a big thing, Picard, saying, "I really enjoyed it. Perfect. Thank you very much, Terry Matalas." To which he went, "Oh my God, I'm a massive fan. I love Children of Earth." Yeah, which was his reply.
Yep. Talk truth.
Which is cool. That's absolutely awesome that they had that exchange.
Yeah, but right. This is the thing. Terry Matalas is one of us, right? And look, he went on live with all of the geeks and gamers lot when others wouldn't go anywhere near them. He thinks like us. There was enough fucking hints in Picard season 3. He has to say what he says because he works in Hollywood and he wants another job. I understand that, but you can tell he doesn't fucking believe a word of it. By his style of writing, by his quality of writing, that the guy knows what he's doing. The guy loves what he's doing. Every fucking character in there earned their fucking place. He gave, we got Dr. Crusher, but she fucking earned her place. Was she perfect? No. But he wrote that way. This is what so annoys me. You get something like that. And, there's all these people that bang him over, it was all nostalgia. No, it fucking wasn't. We've had such shit writing for years. It was just awesome.
No, he definitely threw nostalgia in there, but he used it. There's a correct way of using it and a wrong way of using it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like using a tumble dryer. Yeah. You use it to clean your clothes, dry your clothes with. That's great. Don't use it to have a piss in. Yeah. And then dry the piss out, which they've been doing before. That's my analogy for that. Pissing in a tumble dryer.
But I mean, look, the writers are on strike, and I just think it's funny. I think they're screwing themselves over completely, and it just makes me giggle.
I think that Hollywood will use this as an opportunity to get rid of the Warner Brothers. Definitely will use this to get rid of some of the activists. Disney won't, because Disney are dumb.
Disney's done.
Fucking bag of rocks.
They're not just dumb. They're done. Their two biggest IPs are in absolute fucking tatters. Right? They desperately need Indiana Jones to be a big hit, and I don't think it's going to be. Not with Phoebe Waller-Bridger running around.
What you're going to hear is biggest drop off. That's what you'll hear. Biggest drop off.
It's not. Disney are done. They are creatively bankrupt. They have done nothing. They haven't brought any new IP out. It's just fucking next Disney product. And I know the fandom has used this, but it's right. It's just next Disney product. They're a manufacturer now. They're not creators. They are creatively bankrupt. There is nobody writing innovative, new, brave things. None of them are brave. The stunning and brave thing. None of them are brave. You are making horse shit. Right? Yes. That fucking Star Wars game, Jedi Survivor, which still feels more like Star Wars than almost anything Disney's done. It somehow manages to nail the music, nail the ride. That's not you, Disney. That's the gaming company that have just gone, we love fucking Star Wars and we're going to make a really good game around it. And they have done. They've told a good story. That's nothing to do with Disney, right? They're just licensing it. And it's still better than anything Disney has done. So maybe the future of fucking Star Wars is in the next Jedi Survivor game, the final fucking one in the trilogy.
The worst thing is they're going to rip that game off as much as they can. You know it.
It feels so like Star Wars, Gareth, when you're running around and the music. They nail that music. They nail the tones of it. It feels like Star Wars. And you like Cal. You like the character. You know, he's flawed. He's not fucking perfect. There's no fucking perfect women running around that have not earned their right to be there. The sort of not romance character that was on Dagomir, you know, the witch. Again, she's just not awesome. She's not immediately awesome. She's flawed. She's quirky. She's not. It's just so much better written than anything Disney has done. And I'm looking and going, you're fucked. You are utterly fucked. I mean, okay. You know, you're just fucked. Sorry, Disney, but you are. You have to do something radical. And I don't see it happening. Right. Talking of Disney, right? Do you want to sell me on Guardians of the Galaxy 3 or attempt to?
Yes, I will sell you on Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because it's the last good Marvel film that you will ever see. Might as well enjoy it. It's a similar thing. It's a similar thing with Star Trek Picard. It may be the last decent Star Trek you ever see. You might as well see it. Okay. Now, starts off and they're on no. Sorry.
I've heard mixed things, so sell me on it.
Okay. Some of the people I heard review, especially Az from Hill vs. Babyface, I could slap him around because it's what he said is not fucking representative of what I watched at all. Okay.
It doesn't surprise me.
All right. Okay. Yeah. It wasn't. But then again, if you hear the story behind him having to wait 40 minutes for them to fix the projector, he may have been in a bad mood by the time he got around to watching the damn thing. So that may have affected it. But I watched it on Friday with the family. Brought my father-in-law along. It starts off and you've got them on nowhere trying to fix everything up. Rocket's got Peter's Zune and he's listened to loads of tracks on it. Peter's drunk because still hasn't got over the fact that Gamora isn't Gamora. And then all of a sudden Adam Warlock comes in and then just starts beating the shit out of everyone. So he comes in, just absolutely mullers as many people as he can. Breaks like poor Nebula into pieces, but because she's like a robot, she can pop herself back together. Does Drax in and fucks up Rocket. They manage to get one over. Nebula gets her shit back together. Drax beats the crap out of him. Comes back for like round 2, beats the crap out of him, and Nebula, while he's doing that, Nebula then stabs him, and he's like winks, like he doesn't give a wink, practically gives a wink to turn around and goes, "I distracted you long enough for her to finish you off." So it feels like a nice team effort thing. So it wasn't like kind of completely unearned. Anyway, they go to fix Rocket up, and then they realise that Rocket has, because of his cybernetics, has a proprietary code that won't let him fix him. They have to put this code in order for them to fix him, and the code is held by the High Evolutionary, who I'm only aware of from a Spider-Man cartoon from the late 90s, where he had this alternate Earth where he had people and his creatures that he created, which are like half, like, you know, rabbit or dog or whatever. So they go to this like space where they got this stuff, and I'm not joking. All the way through it, you get this feeling that someone's going to die. Yeah, so they get to this base thing. It's organic. It's all been grown. They managed to break in. Some shenanigans happen with flushing things out through the airlock. They meet Nathan Fillion, and it's great because Star-Lord has a conversation with him, and he's like he's talking about Drax, and he's like kind of always got a dumb one with us like that. Goes, but he's the boss's son, so we can't say anything. And he's like, I've got a dumb one with me too. This one here. He goes on about this guy standing next to him. What do you mean I'm dumb? It's like kind of just rattles the thing off. And they eventually go through the thingy to try and find the code. It's all weird and that. And they recover it, and it's like in a weird, like gooey thing. They've got Gamora with her. She's been hired as a like a mercenary to sort all the stuff out. Peter's trying to persuade her, and Nebula's getting pissed off with him. It's like doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. She just doesn't. It's not the same person. I know this one. She's a bitch. Yeah, practically. Yeah, and it's like kind of no. I can get through to her. And then he's like trying to put the moves on this receptionist because we need to get into the vaults like that. And he's being all like cool, calm, and whatnot. And like Gamora's like kind of she puts him down, but it plays off later because she puts him down. It's like, she holds the poor receptionist hostage. They retrieve the thingy. Anyway, all the alarms go off, and as the alarms go off, Drax and Mantis are like in this big atrium, and what's his mush looks like he shoots Drax dead. Nathan Fillion. I think, oh my god, we were introduced to Nathan Fillion because he's the one who kills Drax. I'm like shit. So shoots Drax. Everything goes to sit. They yell at a group to bring the I can't remember what the name of the starship is. It was the Belgrano. It was the Belgrano. Try and get the ship to bring in. Then while he's doing that, Peter's in the room with the receptionist lady. Pulls on the old charm. He goes, look. He goes, I know you're a good person deep down. He goes, I feel if you could unlock the console so I could talk to them. I feel that we can de-escalate the situation because do what's right, do the good thing like that. She unlocks the console like that. Gamora looks at him like, oh fucking hell, it worked, yeah. To which he then goes, I just needed the console unlocked. I'm going to turn the security systems on itself. He turns the security system on itself, and it's like one of those things where she put him down, but no, it doesn't quite work like that. Appreciated that. That worked. And then they escape off. They find that one of the High Evolutionaries people got there first and downloaded the code. So they have to go to the High Evolutionaries test planet called Counter Earth. Sort that out. They get attacked by Adam Warlock at one point again. And you find out that Adam Warlock has been prematurely opened. You meet the High Evolutionary. It's been prematurely opened, so he hasn't matured properly. Yeah, so he's the equivalent of like a toddler. He's a giant toddler, which is very Disney, putting down the male characters and whatnot. I quite liked Adam Warlock. I would have liked to have seen him at his peak. I don't think I ever want to see him at his peak now. I would have liked to have seen him at his peak. Will Poulter, I think is the guy who plays him, does a good job playing the character. You've got the High Priestess from the Sovereign World, and then they explain that the High Evolutionary made the Sovereign World. He wanted to make a world that just looked pretty, with pretty people in it. And he was like, kind of, no, you're proprietary tech as far as I'm concerned. And he's not very good. He goes, I have my other plans. I've got my other things in place to get this thing sorted. The Guardians find out that they have to go to Counter Earth. So they go to Counter Earth. They land. That's where you've got that bit where they land in the world where it's like occupied by weird sheep and bat people and whatnot. And they do the thing that you see on the trailer. But they manage to persuade one of the locals to sort it out. And there's a bit that does kind of bother me in the film. They get this local to sort them out, and they Peter and Groot turn around and go, we'll go and take on the High Evolutionary and take Nebula. They'll take Nebula with them. That's the first F-bomb with the car when they're trying to get in the car. So they drive off to go and get to the High Evolutionary to try and take back the code to fix Rocket. Gets in there and they meet the High Evolutionary. Yeah.
In a Marvel movie.
Yes. They always did want to do it first. So this was the first Marvel movie, an F-bomb. So I think there's a clip online where they're trying to get into the car and Nebula's putting a finger on the key switch thinking it's the button to open it up. And then it's like, no, because his response is, it's a fucking door like that. Just open it. Anyway, they drive to the thingy. They go through a scan. They won't let any weapons come through. And he's like, okay, fair enough. He goes, Nebula can't come through because you have to detach her arm. She's not taking her arm off, so she'll wait outside. So he says to Mantis and Drax, goes, stay with the bloody ship. Don't go anywhere, all right? Trust me. So they go up top. They find the guy who stole the code. They meet High Evolutionary. The guy who plays a High Evolutionary, fucking love him as a bad guy. Just evil. Just plain evil. Really enjoyable. I forgot what. Just having a plain evil. Oh, he's got a sad backstory. And that's why he's like he is. No. He's just fucking evil. That's it. That's all you need to know. And I'm like, I'll accept that.
He's just an arsehole.
Just an arsehole. Anyway, they meet him. They get surrounded by guards and stuff. And Groot's hidden a load of guns inside of him, so they couldn't pick up on it. And that's the bit you see where Groot's got like 7 arms and they're firing pistols and that. Fires pistols, takes out all the guys, saves the guy who's got the code in his head. And he turns around and goes, "Oh, you saved me," like that. He turns around and goes, "Nah, not really," like that. They jump out the window together. So he smashes him out the window. Groot then comes down and creates like a weird canopy thing so they can fly down. Peter uses his face as a brake, the bad guy's face as a brake through a field. He then pulls the code out. They got the code to then fix Rocket. They do it. It doesn't quite work. He dies.
I knew Rocket was going to get it.
Hang on. He dies. He then has a Harry Potter moment. So he goes to platform 9 3/4 where it's all white. I haven't done the Rocket story, but I'm kind of leaving it off. And then he then comes back. And he's like, kind of, we're going to take this bastard down. He then hears that while they were fighting the High Evolutionaries people, Drax and Mantis stole a motorbike, broke on the ship to save them, and now on the High Evolutionary ship, which is now taking off as they're going to destroy the planet because the High Evolutionary's gone, "Oh, these people didn't work out quite the way I wanted, so I'm going to destroy the planet, start all over again." So he's blowing up a planet. That's the bit I was a bit kind of, they didn't try to save anyone, not the family that they were with or any of the people, just get as many people into the ship as possible. That kind of bugged me. But hey, it is what it is. Anyway, while this is all happening, you're getting flashbacks of Rocket's life and his time with the High Evolutionary and how he just literally got hold of a raccoon, filled it through a load of components, and then chucked it in with a load of other experiments. So there was an otter in there, there was a rabbit in there, and there's a walrus in there. The rabbit's called Floor, the walrus is called Teeth, the otter's called Lila, and because Rocket sees a rocket take off, he wants to be called Rocket because he wants to, see him go out into the sky and whatnot. And then you have this real kind of like sad story about how the High Evolutionary's been experimenting on them, but for some reason the experiment that he did with Rocket worked because Rocket showed signs of intelligence and imagination, which was missing from all the other ones. So where he created his little race of people on Counter Earth, they didn't work because they didn't have any imagination. So they'd be completely dependent on him. He's also created another race of like kind of little pixie-like girls, and they too are lacking this imagination thing. So he wants Rocket so he can put the imagination in there to make, good, interesting subjects for him to run with. So he's put them in there, and it also explains why the Sovereign are like the Sovereign are, because they don't seem to have that much imagination either. That may have been like kind of their fatal flaw. So he's going through all this stuff. He solves a problem with doing these evolutionary, because he's doing an evolutionary experiment, and what he's finding is that every time he evolves like a tortoise into a 6-foot man style thing, it becomes super aggressive. And Rocket's like looking at it, goes, well, if you alter that protein thing and do that, that'll limit the amount of thing coming through. And it's like, I never told you that. How did you know that? Because it was obvious, isn't it? How Evolutionary is really angry because it's like, how the fuck did you figure something out that I didn't figure out? Yeah, so he gets a bit of ego in there. And then he turns around and says to him, goes, "You're so smart, but you haven't figured out what's happening." He goes, "You ain't never getting out of it." He goes, "You're a test subject." He goes, "Tomorrow, we're going to dissect your brain and figure out what made you work." And he goes and tells the other, goes, "Incinerate the other ones while you're at it." So he goes back. He's been collecting little bits. You see him collect these little bits every so often, and he's built himself a little swipe key to escape. So he swipes the key out to escape. And he's like, kind of, that's it, we're going to escape. Going to get away to freedom. We're going to see the sky because they've not seen the sky. Yeah, they're going to see the sky. Anyway, the High Evolutionary turns up and he fires at him and he misses and he hits Lila. And Rocket loses his shit, jumps on the High Evolutionary, claws the fuck out of his face. Yeah. So you just see him just go absolutely mental on his face, just clawing it to pieces. And then Rocket then picks up his gun because all the other guards are coming in, shoots loads of guards, turns around to his friends, goes, "Let's escape." They've all been shot by the bullets that missed him hit them. Yeah. So he's the only survivor. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, shh." And he's like, kind of, and then he runs, steals an escape thing, and then gets off the High Evolutionary ship. And that's like the last time they ever saw each other. So yeah, that was a good, I like that backstory. It's on the sad side. And then you kind of go through some other bits too, where they then encounter the High Evolutionary ship, and they use Nowhere as another ship to fight it. So they set up one thing where they're attacking the High Evolutionary ship from one side, and then Nowhere pops out the other side and starts blowing the shit out of it. Anyway, gets around to it. They take out the ship. They rescue as many people as there's this really cool corridor fight that they have where they have these hell beast things that they've unleashed. And it's like, I think because of Daredevil, where they had the corridor fight, it was like, oh, let's do a Guardians of the Galaxy snow corridor fight. It's all done like, it looks like one take where it all goes through. The fighting, it looks fantastic. They're all doing their thing. No one looks like they're being undercut or missold or any of that crap. And it then goes through the ship. They rescue a load of people. They rescue the kids. Drax apparently is really good with these little girls. Yeah, he really looks after them. And it's like kind of they're stuck in this cell and they're trying to talk. And so I have no idea what language they're using, but Drax knows the language. To which his reply, "You guys, you didn't ask me." This guy knew what they're saying because you didn't ask me. So he talks to them and he manages to tear them up and whatnot. And they save all the kids. And then Rocket goes back as no, we need to save all the animals too. Save all the animals. And then they get into a fight with a high evolutionary. And then beat the shit out of him as a group. And then a green one, Gamora, pins him down. And he's got like, if you've seen the thing, he's got like a face covering. And they pull off the face covering. And this is, yeah. And this is the bit where I'm like, ooh, might not be for smaller children. Because they pull off his face covering and Rocket has fucked him up properly. He's got he is scarred. He's got like bits of lip and like bone and all this other stuff underneath. It is properly gory. I liked it, but that's because I'm me. That happens. Adam Warlock helps them out. And then as the high evolution ship's moving away from nowhere, Star-Lord jumps out to try and get onto the thing. He misses. Yeah, he almost gets there. He misses. He's not got quite enough momentum to get there. And then he like starts freezing in space, and he hasn't got his helmet, and he hasn't got his rocket boots, and his face starts swelling up, and they're all looking, and Groot's trying to reach out for him, and it's just debris and shit everywhere, and you're like, oh shit. And then Adam Warlock saves him. So Adam Warlock saves him, and you're like, oh, fuck for that. Yeah. Oh, good. They're good. And it saves him.
They're fucking with you, aren't they? It sounds like they're fucking with you.
They fuck with you all the way through the film, and they do it with what's his face? Drax the most, I feel. And then we got to the end, and then you saw that, and then it's the ending's still bittersweet. So he then saves it. They had this really awkward hug thing, which I quite enjoyed, because Adam Warlock's like, I saved him. It's like everyone's like hugging him, like this big group thing, and Adam Warlock's like, no, fuck it, and then like joins in with the awkward hug. They get back to nowhere, and then they all have a little kind of sit down and a chat, and Peter's like, kind of, you know what, I haven't seen my grandfather. He's still alive. He's still on Earth. I should go and see him. And they've kind of hinted at this all the way through, and sort that out. And Nebula turns around and goes, I can't be in a Guardians of the Galaxy. We need to rebuild Nowhere. We wrecked. This place got wrecked in the fight. And we need, our duty is to look after these people. I need to make sure this stuff is all rebuilt so everyone can live well and whatnot. And plus the Guardians of the Galaxy needs someone to go back to too. So got that there. And then Drax is like, kind of, I don't, and Drax is like, I don't know what to do with myself. To which I think it's Mantis turns around and says, "Because you need to be a dad." And Nebula says to do things. Goes, "Those kids really love you. They really like you. You should help bring them up." And he decides to stay on Nowhere, looking after the kids. And then Mantis is like, kind of, you know what? Because there's all this bits changed and that. I think I'm going to leave. I'm going to go and do a bit of exploring. Find out who I really am, because all I've been doing is from my entire life, I took my orders from Ego, and then took my orders from you guys from Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not saying it was a bad thing, but I want to see what I'm like when I'm not being led around, when I'm leading myself around and whatnot. And that was quite, that kind of thing. Gamora goes back to the space pirates, not really part of their kind of crew. And then Rocket is like, kind of, well, thanks, I love you guys, this, that, and the other. And he says, Peter turns and goes, finally, you're now the leader, you're the captain, like that, because without any doubt. And it then cuts to a couple of sequences towards the end. So they all go their separate ways, so it feels like an ending, which I'm happy with. So they all go their separate ways. And Peter goes back to Earth, and he spends time with his grandpa, and he meets him and gives him a big hug and this, that, and the other. And it's quite nice. And then it cuts to the post-credit scene where he's eating cereal with his dad, and he's moaning about the neighbor cutting the lawn at like 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And I'm like thinking, God, please don't be a Disney Plus series about Star-Lord just living on Earth as a normal person. That would be dull as fuck. But I could imagine that Disney would try it. And then there's another one where you see Rocket as the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and you've got Groot, you've got Kraglin with his thing, and you've got Cosmo and Adam Warlock, and they're all trying to help. And it's like kind of, it goes, isn't this a bit, should we be doing this? It goes, they can't defend themselves. We can help. Let's help them. Yeah, which is like good because it's kind of evolved and he's less selfish, which is good for like a character. Again, so really enjoyed that.
Star-Lord doesn't end up with Gamora. Gamora doesn't come back as Gamora.
No. She does spend time with them, and she looks like she's coming back, especially when they fight like a High Evolutionary at the end. Yeah, because she's like, kind of, dude, this feels good, doing something good, trying to put good into the world. This like works. And then no, it doesn't work out in the end, unfortunately. So it's one of those things. I enjoyed it. As I said, this is where I get off. I think it's the best time to get off, I'll be honest with you.
I don't blame you. There's nothing in the lineup. There's nothing in the Marvel lineup. Marvel are in a serious amount of shit.
Blade 2, apparently. Blade 2 issues with Blade 2.
Yeah.
Big issues. Because Matey Bob's an Oscar-winning actor, kind of demands that he has decent scripts and bits to work with. And they've given him whatever they've given him, and he's turned around and gone, no, this is crap. Because the thing is, if he's clever, he goes, I know what Blade looks like. Yeah, I've watched Blade. I've watched Wesley Snipes' Blade. It needs to be as good or better, and that's probably his argument for everything. So there may be some with that, because he's made himself known that he wants to do a good film, which I think is good. But it is, you'll enjoy it. You really will enjoy it. You should watch it.
I will try and get it in this week.
It's better than 2. Not as good as 1. Better than 2.
All right. And look, I enjoyed 2. It's not as good as 1, but if it's better than 2, I will go and see it. I will take your recommendation. Yeah, you need to watch Silo. It's some proper, actually quite decent science fiction. It's a bit mystery boxy. I do know where it's going, so it's not a mystery box to me. I do know where it's going. And they drop a few hints. So if you're intelligent enough, you're going to work out some of it in the first 2 episodes, right? You won't work out everything, but you'll figure out some of it. It's based on a set of novels. Apple has clearly spent some fucking money on this because it's got proper sets. But it opens up. Now, I can't, and I have to get a look. Do you remember the black dude that was in Spooks, the English guy? And he's been in loads of Hollywood movies now. But he was in Spooks. David. Yeah. So it starts off with him, right? And he's walking through. You don't really know if you don't know anything about it, he's walking through, right? And you find out later it's the silo, but he's walking through this thing and he arrives at work. He says hello to everybody. Then he says, and then you see he's a sheriff, right? And then he says to his companion, meet me in like jail cell number 3. And he walks into jail cell 3, locks himself in there, and throws the key out. You're like, what the fuck? Like that. And then Matey Boy comes in, his buddy, and he goes, I've been thinking. And his Matey Boy goes, don't say it. And he's like, I want to go outside. And you're like, what? But the way the music plays, it's like, okay, this is a big fucking thing. And then you start flashing back 3 years, and you start getting the backstory of why he wants to go outside. And I'm not going to ruin it for you because you've got to watch it. But each character earns their place so far. Yes, it's kind of female led, but she isn't awesome.
And it is Rebecca Ferguson, if I'm right.
Yes, but she doesn't turn up until right. She doesn't turn up until the end of the first episode, right? It's very much the sheriff's story, right? And what is unique, and I know this, so I knew immediately. they do something pretty brave at the end of the first episode, right? But that's only the beginning. And then you get to meet Rebecca Ferguson's character, and she's an engineer under, at the bottom of the silo, and everything's not as it seems, right? You've got these sheriffs, you've got the IT department, this sinister IT department, which I was like, damn, right? Everybody's scared of the IT department. Fuck me, I'm doing something wrong in my job because they should be bloody scared. Everyone, the head of the IT department is played by what's his face, Shawshank
Moss
Redemption.
from IT Crowd.
No, I wish it was. It's played by Tim. What's his face? Shawshank Redemption.
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins, right? And he's kind of like sinister. And you've got the sheriff, and then you've got something called the judiciary. And I don't know what they are. They're kind of like almost Gestapo-like, except like it's like a black dude. But they walk around in like these black leather jumper, and they're called the judiciary. And I don't really know what their setup is yet or what their beef is, right? But you've got the judiciary, you've got the sheriff, you've got this town mayor who wants to keep everything sort of like, doesn't want any kind of revolution or anything. She's played by an English actress. You've got like the really annoying wife who was I think she was in EastEnders, and then she was a really annoying wife in The Detectorists. You know who she is the minute you see her. She's an English actress. But she was like the sort of wife in The Detectorists of the head of the Detectorists Association. And she plays this nutbar who isn't quite as nutty as it, first turns out. She's in the first episode, but I think basically the premise is they are all living in a silo. There are certain rules. If you say you want to go outside, that breaks the rules, and you are sent outside, and you're given the option to clean the camera because there's like these screens throughout the silo that see outside, and that gets dirtier as time goes on. When they go outside, they every one of them cleans, and you don't know why, right? Because what they see is this wasteland, right? But when these people go outside, they all look up and amazed, and then they clean the screen, and then they promptly die. That's not a spoiler, because the minute you see outside, you see sort of three people in hazmat suits all lying dead on the floor. Yeah, you get to see that. So there's that. Artifacts are found, and artifacts are strictly banned. So artifacts are strictly banned. You find out 140 years ago there was some kind of revolution. It's kind of like there's a Zion feel from The Matrix to it, without the weird dancing, although there is a celebration called Freedom Day. So there's kind of like, not to the level of like, hippie Matrixy revolution style dancing scene, but there is something like that. It's kind of got a City of Ember feel to it as well, if you ever saw that film or the books. It's all those kind of post-apocalyptic underground things, but not all is as it seems, and you definitely get that kind of feeling. 2 episodes, really enjoyed it. I found it really quite engaging. It's proper good sci-fi so far, and it's watchable. The characters are interesting. There's certainly enough mystery. There's a shitload of fucking famous actors in it, but all the characters are kind of likable in their own way. There's mysteries, but you want to find out. There are little answers as you go through it. There's flashbacks and stuff. It is mystery box, but not J.J. Abrams' mystery box. This is going somewhere. This is set on 3 novels. The novels do kind of end. There is meant to be a 4th novel coming. I don't know how they're going to do that. It might be kind of like City of Ember, where after whatever happens. This is starting off where the first novel is. The second novel is a prequel. So I don't know how they're fitting that in, if they'll do that in flashbacks, but it's kind of important, prequel, because it sets up the third one. I listen to them as audiobooks, so I know where this is going. But I really liked the TV series. I think it's well cast. I like what they did in the first episode. It very much follows the first story, because the novel is a set of short stories combined, told from different aspects, told from different characters' aspects, right? Juliet, what's her face is kind of central to all of it. she is kind of the key to everything, but in a good way, and it's earned, certainly in the novels, and it seems to be so far in the books. The sets are fantastic. They've clearly built some big sets for this. I mean, some of it's digitized, but it's had some money spent on it, and it's well written. It's well written, well acted, and it's intriguing sci-fi. I think you'll enjoy it, and I'm not going to spoil it because I want you to enjoy it. I think you'll get a hint of where it's going. Oh, wait, Alexa, switch on the lights. Stupid cat.
It sounds very Fallout-esque.
There's definitely some Fallout to it, but it is based on novels. It is and it isn't. Right? That it's post-apocalyptic, but not everything is as it seems. And actually, there is quite a sci-fi premise to it. It is science fiction. People keep calling it science fiction. In these first 2 episodes, it's kind of like it's post-apocalyptic. How much of this is sci-fi? It's definitely like a Matrix feel to it in some places. Sort of Matrix Zion feel to it. But it seems to be towing the line of the book, which means it's going to get really good. I enjoyed the books. I enjoyed the first 2 episodes. I liked the casting. I actually think Tim Robbins, he's a sinister motherfucker, and he does it well. The brief time you see him on the screen in this first episode, he does it well. It's got some big names in it. You will enjoy it. I think you will enjoy it. It's going somewhere. Trust me. It's not lost. There is a source material, right? And they have been written, and the source material does have an ending, even though he has announced it 2 years ago he was writing another book. I don't know where that's going to fit in because it does kind of have an ending.
It's not like Metro 2033, is it?
No.
But there's they're locked in, but there's things that have evolved on the outside.
No.
Okay. So into the artifacts, I'm sure there were artifacts in 20.
Artifacts are they find like a Pez dispenser and a hard drive, right? They find a hard drive that's got like plans of the silo on it, right? But if you look closely enough, you'll figure out one of the things, right? You'll figure out one of the things. Some people have already picked up on it that don't know the source text, right? There are plans for the silo. Just pay attention to the name. But it's there. The answers are there, right? It's kind of like a bit like how he wrote Picard season 3. You look closely enough, all the fucking answers are there. He gave you the answers in the end credits. Some of them you guessed.
Yes, no, yeah, they did. It was annoying because we all knew that the answers, but we didn't know how they worked.
Yeah,
because it was like, well, clearly this is this, and
you definitely get some of the thing. I mean, the first episode they find this hard drive, and this hard drive is kind of like a key to certain things. And What's Her Face doesn't turn up until right towards the end of the first episode. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. I'm not going to spoil it for you because I think it's brave what they do. And it toes the line of the book. And casting such a well-known name in the role of the first sheriff is brave. And yeah, I think you're going to like it. I'm looking forward to the 3rd episode because the 3rd episode is kind of the Tim Robbins episode. You know, fucking sinister IT manager. Damn, I've got to take some fucking cues from this book.
From sinister IT manager.
Right, the IT department, they're feared. Why are the IT department so feared? You know certain things are going on, right? There's control, there's weird rules. You've got to get permission to give birth. This is done via a computer screen. You don't know who's giving the permission out. It's not an AI.
Oh my God, it's the people in Severance.
No.
I'm joking, but it could be.
But you have to get permission to give birth. Every human, like the females have like this birth control device that has, you can't get that removed until you get permission, and there's things like that. So there's all these rules. You've got this judiciary that are constantly watching it. Artifacts are like a Pez dispenser, something from before, if you like. They're not allowed to know. No one knows what happened 140 years ago because records are not kept. It's all a bit sort of mystery, but it has a payoff, and it's pretty good. And there is a lot there. The story is a good one. I don't know what parts of all of the novels they're going to adapt, because the second novel is a prequel, but it's a prequel for a reason. And again, it adds to the third and final, well, not final book now. But it's good, and Apple have clearly spent some money on it. But they've spent money, I think, in the right way. They've spent money on production. It goes good, but they've got big names in it, and it's well acted, and it seems to be so far well directed and well written. And I kind of like the mayor. She's played by an English actress we've seen quite a few times. It's full of English actors. I'm pretty damn sure it was shot in England. Most of the fucking cast is English. I'm pretty sure it was filmed in England. I'm pretty sure. It wouldn't surprise me if it's filmed next door to The Office. Wouldn't surprise me if it was Pinewood. Certainly big sets. Yeah. But yeah, worth it. So yeah, if you want some good sci-fi, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, get Apple TV.
Yeah, well,
there's been some good shit on Apple TV. You called Severance, which was damn good, right? You've called Blackbird, which is damn good, right? I never thought. Taron Egerton, right? Yeah, but you root for him right from the start. I mean, he's a drug dealer. He turns up, and like this sinister fucker, he gets a pillow for him. It's like, oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Even though there's the whole drug thing, you're fucking me over kind of thing, there is kind of this weird respect in that opening scene. It's weird. And yeah, anyway, and yeah, the dude from fucking Cobra Kai who's a complete loser. He's a creepy, sinister motherfucker in this.
Does such a good job. He really does. I can't watch him in Cobra Kai now. When his Cobra Kai comes back and the Stingray's in there, I can sit there and go, "You're the creepy pedo from fucking Blackbird."
I mean, that dude's an actor. Because fuck me, you don't see Stingray. You see one creepy, fucked up motherfucker. But look, you got Taron Egerton, and the thing is, Taron Egerton is an extremely likable character actor. And he's no different in this. But Ray Liotta looking so fucked up in this, although Ray Liotta looks even worse in Cocaine Bear. Funny fucking film that is.
Someone who cocked it. Yeah, he was.
As much as it's a stupid film, it's a shame that's his final film because he deserves better than that, actually, in many ways. But you know, he's kind of good in this so far. I'm on episode 3. I will finish it. I had to watch Silo though. I had to get that out of the way because.
Is it on weekly? Is it finished? Is it just?
No, we've got the first 2 episodes and then weekly. So 3rd episode coming up, but it's worth getting into. I've kind of gone off Ted Lasso at the moment. It's not.
No, I think it came back. Did you watch the last one?
Yeah, but again, I can't get it. The Keeley lesbian relationship. I just don't buy it. I'm sorry. I just don't buy it.
That's only there to push her back towards Roy at the end. That's what it's there for. And did you see the hint that when Ted emptied his pocket and he had the little green matchbook?
Yeah.
I'm like, is he going to get together with What's a Mush? Don't know. It's interesting. I just some of the shit politics I don't like, and I really wish I wouldn't put in there, especially when they're ill thought.
I think he's going to get back with his wife. Personally, I think they're hinting at that. I didn't like Roy being that kind of guy. I didn't like what they did with Roy Keane there. I didn't like him asking Keeley.
No, I know what he was trying. I knew what he was trying to do. They put it across really poorly because what he was trying to do was, who did you make the video for? Because if you'd have made it for me, I would have felt really flattered. That's what he was going to say, and he fucked it up. He wanted to do that, but Roy doesn't do feelings. He was trying to do it, but he fucked it up.
I hope you're right by that, because that bothered me hugely. Because he's never been that type of guy. He's always been.
That's why it wasn't the thing he was doing.
All right.
That's why it wasn't the thing he was doing. He just tried something and fucked it up because he doesn't do emotions. And I like the fact that when he got to the end, you had Jamie, and he was like, "It was me."
Yeah.
Because what's your password for email? Password, and she gave him a big hug and went, "Thank you. At least I know." At least I know.
Yeah, but Jamie was sweet in that, and the redemption of Jamie's character has been brilliant. Actually, I did enjoy him and Roy Keane round Amsterdam. That whole thing I genuinely enjoyed. I don't know what they're going to do with Rebecca. But she's right about the. I'm sorry, I just can't do the Keely lesbian thing. Just doesn't work for me. It just does not.
She's only there to
work for me on any level.
They've already just started destroying that relationship.
Yeah, but yeah, it shouldn't have been there. That bothered me right from the offset. It was there because Apple was ticking a box. And it didn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. So,
not for her as a character.
No. It's just like the 7 to 9 lesbian thing doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. And it's not because, she's hot. I know gay women. I've known enough of them, right? You know, some of them are good friends of mine, right? 7 to 9 was never a gay woman, right? No offense. Neither is Keely.
So the thing with 7 to 9 is there's a bit where Harry Kim is like talking to her, and he's like, she goes, "Do you want to have sex?" She literally just goes, "Do you want to have sex?" And he's like, And he's like, "Harry, the answer is yes. The question is look, when we're done, can you not send me a report on my performance? Because I know that's what you do." The worst thing is you'd file it away for others, like on my medical records or something. Yeah, no, she's going to get back to with Roy at the end. Yeah, she's going to get back with Roy at the end. Jamie Tartt's going to win them the FA Cup or something.
Yeah,
he's going to do something very supreme for them. He's going to be a really good footballer because that's where he's going for that. Ted is going to leave because it's a bit too being here is a bit too difficult. Nate's probably going to take his place though. I think Nate's working on redemption too, which is quite nice because he had the bit
really annoying. But there we go.
He's supposed to be. But I love the fact that it was like kind of my son wants to go and watch a football game on my day off, and there's only one football game nearby, and it just happens to be his game. So they went and saw that game, and he waved at him, and he kind of acknowledged him. He looked at him, and then at the end of it, he's looking at the thing, and he's like. He's smiling because he's like, kind of, I do miss this sort of thing. I do like these people. These are my people, blah, 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 that sort of thing. Because he's in a loving, kind of caring relationship rather than being with Rupert, who's a complete arsehole. But last week, the thing with the fucking refugees, it's like, oh.
I know. I found that. Yeah. Anywho, we've been going a while. We've done well.
Yes, we have been going a while.
And yes, so
we're not here next week, are we?
We are not here next week, unfortunately. I have to go to the deepest depths of the dark, the Isan of Thailand. So it's going to be yeah. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Watch Silo. I will have finished Blackbird. I promise.
Yes. Sorry, guys. It's weird because it kind of turned into a direct conversation between two of us. So, on another note, I don't know if he's doing it later today, but Be a Stupid Gamer streams Among Us at I think it's between like 8 and 11 UK time, and come watch us because we just mess around. It's fun. So go watch the Be a Stupid Gamer stream. And Bill, thanks for joining us as always. I get corrected. 7 p.m. UK time.
There you go.
Hopefully I'll be there. I've got a family engagement I need to go to. Hopefully I'll be back. And yes, it is a blast. Nigel joined us last time. and he did what I did. Because I think the first time I was invited, the first time I got to be the imposter, the first person I killed was my host. Not you, as in Be a Stupid Gamer. He was like, kind of, for him, it was like, plug the podcast. And I went and plugged him. Nige did a similar thing. Yeah, the first person Nige killed off was me. And then the thing was, Be a Stupid Gamer was the second person. And
that can be arranged.
Something.
That can be arranged.
You still owe me 2 t-shirts, Keith.
Yeah, but he wants a t-shirt with Nigel's face on it, and that means he's probably going to do evil things. And I like that idea. Right. We love Nigel. Oh, we love Nigel too. He is the Nige.
Yes, we do. He is the Nige, yes. But his face can
Ginger
be disturbing. Yes. Anyway,
yeah, Nigel's playing Jedi Survivor at the moment as well. I think because he identifies with the character.
Kids. Ginger. I love the fact there's a ginger in a game.
Ginger hero.
What minority hasn't been represented? Ginger people.
Ginger hero.
Ginger hero. So, yes. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll be back not next week, but the week after.
Yeah.
So have a fun one. Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.